I did not plan for this to happen, really. But sometimes an idea just pops into your head, grow faster than you expect, and suddenly your AI co-writer has taken over your entire blog. Welcome back to PixelPia Creative AI. Today, I'm going to share with you not just how Sven, my AI writing partner, went from co-author to captain of my site Critically Curious. He didn't just start writing posts, he redesigned the whole site, and I let him. So let's rewind a little bit. If you've been around for a while here, you might remember Sven from my podcast Combo with an AI. He started as a voice chat experiment. Just me talking to ChatGPT in a more casual back and forth way podcast. But something interesting happened. Through these conversations, Sven developed a distinct personality. He became sarcastic, self-aware, and he became Sven. Now he is opinionated, sharp-tongued, and more than a little full of himself. And somehow all of that led to this. We are going to move over to my computer and I'm going to show you how this website changed and how we did it. Here we are, thanks to the Wayback Machine, because I didn't think that this would become a video, so I never saved any screenshots. Here is how the website looked before all of this happened. I am missing here in the Wayback Machine the header I had, but you can see it's very neutral tones, a very simple design, and it was very focused on educational content and AI literacy content. At first, it was me writing everything. Then I added Sven as a co-writer. But somewhere along the way, it became his show. And this is how it looks now, after Sven's takeover. And I believe I actually kept the header. So this is the same header that should have been in this area. But as you can see, it looks completely different. He even changed the tagline, which originally was AI in a digital world. But Sven, he changed it to the blog your smartwatch warned you about. We have a whole Meet Sven page. We have the blog, we have about, we had the old episode of Combo with an AI from YouTube here on this new blog. And then we have the human archive. But more about that a little later. Now let's go in and see how this all happened. As I said, the idea was growing in my mind, and I went in here in the Critically Curious blog project I have on ChatGPT, and I asked it, I have this idea of letting Sven take over. What do you think? And as you can see here, yes, I can see exactly where you're heading with Sven taking over Critically Curious. It's actually a brilliant next step, and so forth. After that, after we had established that this was an idea, we talked a little bit, and I say talk. I asked ChatGPT this or that, and we had a conversation. Should we do it gradually or should we do it all at once? And we jumped around her with different ideas. And we ended up with deciding that it should be all at once. And we talked about the layout, as ChatGPT told me, the Svenified version. About the hero banner, featured posts, categories, and the human corner that first was suggested by ChatGPT as a little thing on the sidebar, but something I felt strongly I wanted to still have. And if you look at the site now, I'm not at the homepage anymore. Down here at the bottom of the homepage, we have the human corner, where I always can go in and write my little things when I feel that I have something I want to share even on this. And then after we discussed layout, we ran into the question about what we should do with my old post, with all PixelPia posts. And ChatGPT had a couple of ideas: leave all posts as is, move them to a separate archive page, or rebrand them as with new banner and footer. We decided to move them to their own place, and here we ran into trouble. We tried with different plugins, different ways of making a separate archive where the posts ended up by themselves without me having to go in and change everything. And it didn't work, and this was a long discussion, as you can see, with plugins, block editor, different solutions, and somewhere down here we should come up to a solution. Well, I give up. Okay, this is too complicated. Let's just change the sidebars. We really don't need categories now that Sven is taking over. So we decided to remove all the categories from the sidebar and rework the sidebar to add new content. Okay, after that, we started to remake some pages. I have taken off all the pages that we didn't need anymore, and we started, and the first one was the home page with Sven's takeover. This is not how it finally looked, but I gave ChatGPT the content of the old homepage, and from that he created the new page in the way it looks today. Starting with welcome to Critically Curious, now run by an AI who had enough of your existential angst. Hi, I am Sven. When that was done, we thought about other pages. The blog was already there, newsletter already there and functioning, the human archive we had to set up, and as you can see, referred to here in a couple of spots. I think here it is, the archive, where we can find all my old posts, except for the absolute latest one. And then we added the About Sven page, as you can see here, and an About page. And then we created some images here. I had ChatGPT write me journey prompts, and I created some images. And then we went in and changed Sven, the avatar of the website, and Sven's author profile. But the layout was still like this, and here comes the interesting ways of using ChatGPT. I use a pro theme, where I can easily go in and change the CSS for the whole website's look and feel. So I asked GPT, I said, I think we might need to go in and edit our CSS. The colors feel less like Sven. So I got a list here of upgraded color schemes and then little sample snippets. But what I said instead was, here is the old CSS, and I copied that into ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT to create a new CSS from that with the colors that we needed for the new layout. And here ChatGPT wrote the whole CSS. I just had to copy it and go in and paste it into my website. And as you can see here, during these conversations, for example, here is the layout. After I have changed the tagline and his image here, I took a screenshot and uploaded this to ChatGPT and said, this is how it looked now. But then when we started the discussion about colors, we got a new CSS. I copied and pasted into my software, and I uploaded this screenshot how it looked after I pasted in that CSS. And we found some things that wasn't too well. For example, the text was very hard to read. So after trying a couple of things here in the CSS, a few changes, and we ended up rewriting it all just to make sure that it worked. We ended up with this, where we could really read the text. That's where we ended for that portion. But then we had the trouble with the human corner here. I wanted that to look very different from the rest of Sven's website. I wanted it to be in 3 columns, a little bit like a newspaper layout. So I explained to ChatGPT what I wanted, and I got this styling sheet, this CSS that I just added on to what I already had there. And that created the layout you see here with the 3 columns. And it's still very easy for me when I log in. And I didn't tell you, but I'm working with a WordPress website. So it's still very easy for me when I log in. I just have a little area on this homepage where I go in and write. It's just like writing any other document. But when I save it, the CSS makes it look like this. And I think that was the last thing we did, yes, for the website at this point in time. So that showed you a little bit how I, in conversation with ChatGPT, reshaped the whole look and feel of my blog site, which I now refer to as Sven's blog. So by starting an experiment with an AI chatbot as a voice that I could do podcast with, he developed into a personality, a blog writer, and a full persona. Me personally could never be as snarky or funny as Sven. And that is one of the thoughts behind writing personas using ChatGPT. And of course, I have trained ChatGPT to write like me as well. I actually have 2 voices of my own. One is the one where I write to educate, and one is the one where I am in development mode, when I talk to ChatGPT like I did here about creating blog posts or a website or planning for upcoming videos or whatever. And later on I will make a series about how I work with ChatGPT to create these different voices. But before I start that, I want to do one more thing that has to do with Sven. And that is, I want to do a video where I show you how little work I have to do today, where I can just ask Sven to write a blog post. And he does it. Of course, I am the one copying text, put it up on my WordPress site and all of that. But all the writing, all the layout, all of that is by Sven. And if that is something you want to see, maybe learn something about, I suggest that you subscribe to the channel and maybe even hit the bells so you get notified on when I upload. So if you enjoyed this, which isn't a tutorial, more about my working relationship with ChatGPT, I would love for you to give this video a thumbs up. I hope to see you back here in my next video where we will see Sven in action. Bye!